Alright, hey guys, what is up? It is Timeless Kicks back with another video. And I do want to apologize if my voice sounds a little bit off. I have a little bit of a cold. I took a COVID test and I'm negative for COVID, so that's good. But I think I just have a little bit of a springtime cold, so I do apologize for that. Before today's video, I just wanted to give you guys a couple more tips if you are looking into getting into sneaker reselling. These are just a couple of things that I've learned along the way. Been reselling for about a year. Did take a break in the winter time, but throughout this process of about a year, I have learned some pretty good tips along the way. So I wanted to share them with you guys really quick. So without further ado, let's just hop right into the video. So the first step I definitely suggest and recommend is to just invest in your brand. It doesn't take a whole lot, but you will need to spend a little bit of money to first get started. The first thing that I did when starting my reselling page was to create a logo. I tried to do this on my own at first, but got a little bit frustrated because it wasn't exactly how I wanted it to turn out. So I actually ended up going over to Fiverr. Now Fiverr is a marketplace that has a bunch of digital creators on there. There is so much that you can find. You can find people who make logos, intros, Twitch stream overlays. There's just an endless array of digital creators who will sit down, listen to what you want for your logo or what you're looking into investing in, and then they will create it based off of your preferences. So for me personally, I spent, I believe it was around $20 to $30 on a logo. I typed in my preferences. For this one in particular, I was looking for a sneaker logo, so that's what I typed in the search bar. The designer allowed me to say what kind of sneaker silhouette that I wanted in my logo, what kind of colors I was going for, and he also allowed you to upload a image of kind of what you want your logo to look like. So based off of those preferences, he made my logo. And I loved it. It was so good, and I have been using it ever since. So I definitely suggest Fiverr if you are looking to get a logo for your brand. After I got Fiverr, I went on the Staples website, and again, for about $20, I was able to get 500 business cards. I just think that it gives you a more professional look. Staples does printing services where you order and you get it the day of. I made the order in the morning, got it maybe around 12 in the afternoon. It was perfect, and I just like to slip these into my boxes. It has my social medias, contact information, all of that stuff. I just feel like it gives you a little bit more of a professional edge when you're reselling sneakers. And you can also include those business cards in your pictures to make sure people know that the sneaker is yours, because there are scammers out there who take pictures from other pages. If you include your logo or your business card within your pictures, people know that you own those sneakers and you appear to be more legitimate, which is a really big key in this game. And if you really want to get into it, which is something that I just personally love to do, this isn't necessary, but if you were looking at investing in your brand and you want to make content creation, I definitely would say just look into getting maybe a camera or maybe some editing software. There are a bunch of free softwares as well. Me personally, I just like to use Adobe, and I was able to purchase a camera just because outside of sneakers, I really enjoy content creation. If you just really want to amp up your content creation, I definitely would suggest maybe purchasing a camera. Our iPhones nowadays also have amazing quality, so a camera is not something that you necessarily need. If that is something that you are looking into getting into, I definitely would recommend. Second tip would just to be using social media to the best of your advantage. There are so many different platforms to grow your brand. Instagram was the first one that I really used with short clips. TikTok is a great platform. I would definitely implement Instagram Reels into your content, and also YouTube Shorts. Short content with a catchy title and eye-grabbing visuals definitely amps up your production. It will definitely get more people to flood your channel and your brand. So just use social media to the best of your advantage. Definitely sign up for Twitter, Instagram, and also use other social media platforms for sneakers such as StockX and Go. You can also sign up for others as well. I definitely just suggest using social media to the best of your advantage, because using social media can definitely allow your brand to take off. Third is, once you made those social media pages, make connections with other resellers. I made connections through some people who watched my videos. I made connections with people who, were asking about the sneakers that I was selling. And as of more recently, I've been making connections with people who are local to me. Now, being a female reseller, at first, I really didn't want to do sneaker meetups. It is something that I'm trying to get more comfortable with. And as of right now, I'm making connections with people who are just local and who can help me out securing pairs locally, so I have them in hand the day of. Having connections with sneaker resellers is the biggest key. This is probably the most important tip that I could possibly give you. Fourth is, when you're pricing your sneakers, you want to use StockX or Market. The thing about sneaker reselling is it can be difficult because most of the time, not always, but most of the time, you are buying sneakers from resellers to resell them. So it can be complicated and it can be difficult to find a negotiable price. But if you are using StockX to negotiate prices and use StockX as a way to find prices for sneakers that you want to post, you will be able to have a competitive price for your sneakers and people will be more interested. If you guys would like a more in-depth video of how to use StockX for market and to price your own sneakers, definitely let me know down in the comments below, because that is something that I could definitely go more in depth about. Another tip that I have, the 5th tip, would be to just attend sneaker events. A lot of the times when you're buying sneakers online, resellers incorporate gas prices and shipping prices into their overall price, which can make it a little bit more expensive for you. If you attend sneaker events, you, one, have the sneaker in your hand the day of. 2, you can negotiate face to face. You can take a look at the actual sneaker itself. If it is not a dead stock pair, take a look at the conditions, compare it to other used sneakers on Go. Sneaker events are just a really easy way to negotiate and to get a better price, because the vendors there bring a lot of stock, and at the end of the day, they don't really want to bring all that home. They're looking to push their stock out. So most of them, for the most part, depending on what sneaker event you go to, a lot of vendors are flexible with their pricing. Definitely trying to attend as many sneaker events as possible. And lastly, this is something that I kind of struggled with at the beginning of my reselling journey, is to don't settle. If you believe that the sneaker in hand is worth more than the offer that you're getting, don't settle. It's okay to reject an offer. Just try to be transparent. That's what I do. Just be like, hey man, like I bought it for this. Your offer is this. I just don't really have the best profit margin. Now, when I say don't settle, I also don't mean to be greedy, because that's something that can really hold you up in this game as well. If you are getting a substantial profit margin, and maybe it's a little bit lower than what you thought it was, as long as you're in the plus and you are getting a decent profit, I would say not to be greedy. Sometimes there are resellers out there who are just trying to get every last cent, and that's when greed kicks in, and that's when, you can get frustrated with your reselling journey, as if you become too greedy. I'm not saying to accept an offer that makes you $5. What I'm basically saying is, say, you were expecting $400 for a pair of sneakers. You paid $200, and say you got an offer of $350. I would say to definitely accept that offer of $350. You're in the positive. You have a good profit margin. You're also allowing someone else to potentially have a profit margin as well. Try and be flexible, but when I say, don't settle, meaning don't allow a sneaker to go for under what you paid, and make sure your profit margin is pretty substantial. But again, try and avoid greed as much as possible. So that is just a couple of my tips if you want to get into reselling. If there's any tips that you want me to go more in depth about, definitely let me know down in the comments below. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys soon.